So Jim, how do you engage with people who are struggling to communicate in their marriage? Maybe all kinds of anger and quarreling and fights. Where do you start? How do you help folks?
That's a large percentage of the marriage counseling we do. One of the blessings I have is Caroline and I usually counsel couples together, and it helps that she can especially speak to the wife, or sometimes a woman's perspective to the husband. A lot of where we begin is basic biblical peacemaking of, they're both very convinced the other person is wrong. They see the sin in the other person, but Jesus said in Matthew 7, first get the log out of your own eye and deal with your own sin. And then he says after that you can help your brother or sister with their splinter, but to self-examination. And then I think very important is just their own walk with the Lord. When Paul tells the Galatians, says don't bite and devour one another, that if they're not walking closely with the Lord, and that's often the case in the midst of these conflicts, they each need to settle their own walk with the Lord before they can fix their problem with each other.
No, that's good. I had a pastor who always pointed to Romans 12 and would ask the question of couples, how are your spirals today? And I think we see two types of spirals in Romans 12. The downward spiral, that's just so natural. It comes so easily. When I'm sinned against, it's very natural for me to respond right back with sin, and that downward spiral just goes. But Paul offers an alternative, that transformation by the Spirit that you see in Romans 12 of instead of returning evil for evil, to be able to return what we might perceive as mistreatment, right? That we're being sinned against, but can I return good for that which I've received? And can we outdo one another in showing honor, and instead of responding with a harsh word, responding in gentleness? And so that's why my pastor would ask, how are your spirals today?
Right, which is reflecting Christ's love to us and the love that the Spirit should be producing in us. One of my favorite analogies for the big picture of marriage counseling, assuming first they're pursuing their own relationship with the Lord, is pulling the weeds and planting the flowers. Pulling the weeds is mutually seeking forgiveness, granting forgiveness. But the goal is not just to have a bare field, but it's also then to enjoy one another. I love Ecclesiastes 9:9, where it says, enjoy life with the woman you love. And it's in the context of not a lot of things to fully enjoy in Ecclesiastes. This is a bright spot. And so not merely to say, okay, we're going to solve our problems, but also we want to bring joy to one another. We want to have joy together and participate in life and activities that especially are a blessing to the other person.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And it's the principle of Ephesians 4 of put off, put on that you see in the marriage relationship.
Amen.